Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, June 11th, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Some 23,537 persons stand to be removed from this country's voters list as efforts continue here to reduce the list, which now stands at 107,208. Speaking to members of the media earlier today, Supervisor of Elections Sylvia Finley-Scrub says following the amendment to the Representation of the People's Act on May 29th of this year, her department is now moving abreast to have the voters list reflect a more realistic figure. Finley-Scrub explains that all persons who have been registered to vote before May 31st, 2005 and have not since updated their national identification card to the latest version make up the over 23,000 persons who stand to be taken off the list. The election supervisor also adds that on June 19, 2015, they will proceed to publish the names of the persons currently in possession of the old ID card in all 3 local newspapers and also via electronic means.
We also have to publish them in all 15 constituencies. The newspapers and the Gazette would carry the names of the places where people could go to check to see if their name is on the list. And there is a period of 30 days where basically you could rectify the situation. If your name is on the list, you can go and get registered. Or for the persons who should not have been on that list and have evidence that the electoral office put their names on the list and they ought not have been on that list, they can now, within that 30-day period, once they've provided sufficient information to the supervisor of elections to refute that exclusion and it is successfully contested, their names would be put back on the list.
Finley-Scrub says the 30-day period for persons to have the matter rectified and have their names back on the voters list will run from June 22nd through July 22nd, 2015.
And thereafter, we are looking at, say, the end of July, maybe the 31st of July, we would then publish the new voters list. So that voters list will reflect all the persons who have registered since the 1st of June 2005. All other persons' names that were on the previous list would be removed. Today, that list, if we were to publish it today, it would reflect about 83,671 names. We have the 30-day period where registration will continue as usual. So new voters will come forward, they'll be registered. Persons who were on the list to be left off, they'll come forward and they can get registered. Those who registered after 2005 but want to update, they can come forward.
The Supervisor of Elections says the number of persons on the present voters list is a misrepresentation of what the list ought to be when compared to the population of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Because if you read the qualifications of a voter, you would see that persons not resident in the country can maintain their voter status. So it doesn't say that only people who live in St. Vincent and the Grenadines 18 years and older qualify to vote. Somebody may have registered as a voter, migrated, but can maintain that registration if that individual has not stayed out of the country for a period exceeding 5 years. Be that as it may, we all agree that that number sounds quite high. And in response to the challenge given to the electoral office and more directly to the supervisor to do something about the list, we have tried to do something about it.
Leader of the opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, Annie Eustace, says something practical must be done formally to recognize the relationship between Garifuna descendants and the people of this country. In an interview last evening via the telephone with a Garifuna radio station in the U.S., Eustace says his interest was heightened on the issue after attending conferences and reviewing papers on the Garifuna people, and that he made his position clear with the leadership of his party and members of the Garifuna community who he met on his recent visit to New York.
We made it clear that we, based in St. Vincent of the Grenadines, did regard ourselves, along with our brothers and sisters, as being ripped from our shores some 2 centuries ago, regard ourselves as one Garifuna people. A week later, on the evening of Sunday, May 31st, 2015, I addressed a town hall meeting in New York of the Vincentian diaspora, including some Garifuna exiles. I stated and proclaimed that the New Democratic Party, of winning the general elections due in 2015, would offer honorary citizenship status to all Garifuna. I and my party unequivocally share this view. And tonight I repeat the same. Welcome home, Garifuna. Welcome home, wherever you may be.
Eustace says the Garifuna have done extremely well over the years and have a remarkable story, not only of survival but of growth and prosperity. He says it is commendable that they have been able to maintain the language and culture, and called on the Garifuna people to let their voices be heard.
Our exiled Garifuna family have done remarkably well over the years. It is a remarkable story, not only of survival. We have gone way beyond that in growth and prosperity and the maintenance of our language and culture. When one considers only approximately 5,000 Garifuna were sent to Baliso, and the numbers are now estimated at over 700,000, we have to recognize the Garifuna contribution, the Garifuna history, which is our history. And we recognize that the Garifuna present is an integral part of our reality. We welcome all Carnival to join us in charting a glorious future together.
Further outlining his plans for the Garifunas and the people of this country, Eustace says over the next few months consultations will be carried out with the Garifunas in the diaspora to outline the terms and conditions of his honorary citizenship proposal.
Understandably, many have raised questions, including some Garifuna, as to what does honorary citizenship mean. It means we recognize you as an integral part of Urame, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Over the next few months, and this is important, we shall meet with the leadership of the Garifuna and work out the rights and benefits that accrue because you are honorary citizens. We know that Garifuna live in many countries and are citizens of many countries, and we do not expect that all Garifuna will suddenly rise up and move to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But we must put in place, in consultation with the Garifuna, the privileges that are associated with honorary citizenship.
The opposition leader further reiterated that not only cultural ties will be strengthened, but the relationship with the Garifunas will also provide economic benefits for SVG through areas such as the banking and tourism sectors.
We expect that the vast majority of Garifuna will want to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines at some time, even in their capacity as tourists, which will provide a welcome economic benefit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And dare I say, particularly to our unfinished international airport. We would wish to encourage the diaspora, including the Garifuna, to invest in business ventures through a system of incentives, fiscal and otherwise, and will be willing to examine the use of our development banking facilities for this purpose.
A 40-foot container of plantains that was last Sunday, June 6th, scheduled to be exported by the Farmer Support Company, the FSC, had to be significantly reduced from the proposed 900 to 100 boxes. That's according to the Ministry of Agriculture's Communication Unit, which says this was the result of overgrade fruits which were deemed unfit to make the journey to the UK, as it would have resulted in significant losses due to shipwreck. A media release from the Communication Unit says a decision was taken to sell the plantains to the region, namely a Trinidadian importer, and that Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar, who is currently attending a meeting in Rome, Italy, has been updated on the situation by the officials in his ministry. The release states that Minister Caesar noted that these snags will arise when there are extremely high productions of any commodity. However, he is pleased that the plantains were able to be sold. The unit says Minister Caesar also indicated that the farmers will be paid the same price as if the shipment had gone to the United Kingdom. Agriculture production is said to have shown a steady upward increase in the first quarter of 2015 relative to the figures of 2014. And Minister Caesar has expressed optimism that the second quarter of 2015 will also show an increase. Coming up, recent statistics from the National HIV/AIDS Unit revealed that males are primarily being infected with the virus. Director of the unit, Firosa Roach, outlined to SVG-TV News that from the 1st January 2015 to the 31st May, 30 persons have been diagnosed with the virus. Roach says this is of concern to the Ministry of Health, as there seems to be a need to reinstill safe sexual practices.
22 males and 8 females. So here we see the disease mainly affect male. The age group mostly affected is the age group 20 to 49. We recorded 22 cases, and the age group 50 to 60 plus, 8 cases. We have to be concerned with communicable disease, especially with HIV, because we know that HIV is a social disease. We know how HIV is mainly transmitted, and because of personal, people not practicing safe sex in terms of using a condom with every sex act and having one faithful partner.
Roach is advising persons who have been tested positive for the virus to seek medical care, which she says can prolong their life.
Tested positive, please come forward. We'll link you to care and treatment. It's important that you take your treatment. Once you take your treatment, you eat properly, you practice healthy living, you will be able to live a long life, a long healthy life, because the medication takes care. Sometimes the amount of virus in your blood is undetected if you're taking your medication as you're supposed to. So I'll encourage persons to get tested. If you're tested positive, we will link you to care and treatment. If you're negative, we can help you to remain negative for the rest of your life.
Chief Prosecutor at the Serious Offences Court, Adolphus Delpeche, says in light of the recent murder-suicide in Chateaubriand, the court has to send a strong message to would-be offenders to desist from such acts. He made a point earlier today to Chief Magistrate Rachel Brown Matthias before she imposed a 5-year jail term upon Andrew Harry, a 33-year-old labourer of Chateaubriand, after he was convicted on 4 separate charges of wounding, assault and resisting arrest. Reports are that on April 25th, Harry proceeded to a bar at Lower Bay Street, which is owned and operated by his ex-common-law wife, Shanice Shea Ginger Slater of Clare Valley. He was asked to leave the bar after an argument ensued. It was during such time he took a hammer and inflicted a wound to the face of Slater. Police officer Kenrick Humphrey, who was on the scene at the time, went to Slater's assistance and subsequently attempted to arrest Harry. A scuffle ensued, resulted in bruises to the hand and the knees of the officer. And the twin brothers Mike and Michael of Lomans Hill have been ordered to stand trial at the next practical sitting of the criminal session on a joint charge of attempted murder on the life of Ashley Roberts, Kenny Edwards and Kellon Batiste, all of Lomans Hill. The order was given yesterday afternoon by Chief Magistrate Rayshon Brown Matthias at the conclusion of a preliminary inquiry to consider whether a case was made out for them to answer before the judge and jury. The incident is said to have stemmed from a dispute between the accused and victims over sheep on June 16, 2014 at Lomans Hill. Carnival Beat is coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome to Carnival Beat. The Upstage Experience tent, which is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year, held another of its showcases for the public last evening at the Russells Auditorium. Tent leader Lennox Bowman told SVG-TV News that for this year, his tent is dedicated to reminding Vincentians that without Calypso, there will be no power soca or raga soca. He says that there is also a need to get more youths involved in Calypso for the preservation of the craft. According to Bowman, Calypso has been a very important part of Vincentian culture and should not be seen as a thing of the past.
Calypso is really a part of us, is a part of our culture, is a very significant part of our culture. Calypso is that art form that has brought so much joy and so much fun to us. It has spawned two children, one called Raga Soca and one called Power Soca. We don't want the children to become orphans, and so we want Calypso to be around. It really is a very, very good genre of the art form to help to improve your performance. Let's support Calypso. I want all the sponsors, all the business people to come on stream with the Calypso art form, support it. The radio stations, the media of all kinds to support it, and the schools to embrace it. If we do that, then we will be preserving a very, very, very vital part of our culture, and that's why we are around working so hard.
Some of the members of the tent took the opportunity to speak to our news team about their present preparations and aspirations for Vincy Mass 2015.
Confident are you of your chances to go into the final? Well, I'm very confident. Yeah, because last year I made it to the semi-finals with Sleeping With the Enemy. And, you know, I'm getting a lot of airplay as well this year with Sexy Gone Crazy. So yeah, I'm confident. I have been involved in the Calypso around 25 years plus. My song is Parental Advice. I do not write it. My song came from Trinidad.
How confident are you of your chances of going into the finals?
I am very confident. Once I render my song properly, I know I can get it.
My song is called Life of Carnival, and it actually depicts the three elements that that is Carnival, which is Pan, Calypso, Mass, as they say, Pan, Kai Mass. Oh, it's not Calypso, it's Raga Soca. I'm expecting the argument. I've not gotten that argument as yet. I'm happy with the way the fans have been receiving the song, especially the real Calypso fans. I think they're coming around. I'm going to do my best, next week to bring it, as the song say. I'm going to deliver and represent hard from my part of the song, which is the Kai-Sonan part of the song. And we have a plan. It's a new thing for me, but hey, it could happen.
I've been singing for like 6 years since in primary school, and I won once and came second 3 times, and I hope that I will reach semi-finals with this song.
Here's a look at some of the performances by the Upstage Experience Calypsonians. In Mass, the Dragons Mass tent is celebrating 50 years of Mass this Carnival. Band leader Elliot Eddie Prince Telesford says he is proud to be at the helm during such a great milestone, and added that with this year's production, the Dragons Mass camp is hoping to capture the essence of Vincy Mass and to create a memorable carnival for all. Telesford explains the Mass production for this year and the inspiration behind it.
Dragons present 50th anniversary celebrating, and we have 10 sections. The name of the sections are Water, The Gift of Life, Roman Conquest, Marriage, Happy New Year, Nature Splendor, I'm in a Dancing Mood, African Civilization, The Oriental Journey, The Aztec Empire, and About the Bash. Well, basically for the last 3 or 4 years, we haven't been using any artists to draw a mass. We've been conceptualizing within the group, and we come up with these ideas, and I am charged with the responsibility of putting it together. And as you can see, this is just part of the costume that you see in here. We have to do headpieces and standards and handpiece and so on and so forth. So this is just part of the costume that you see in here on the mannequin. So this one here that you see in the corner here, this is called About the Bash. This one is Nature Splendor. This one is Oriental Journey. This one is the Happy New Year. This is Water, The Gift of Life. That one is in I Am in a Dancing Mood. And this one here is the Roman Conquest. We have 3 more to put up here.
So why should persons choose Dragons to drop mass this year?
Well, obviously we always make good costumes, and then we have a group of people who is very dedicated, very experienced. We're good at what we do. Well, I would like to encourage people to come and play mass. It's our 50th anniversary. We're celebrating 50 years of being in the mass business. We're the oldest mass band in St. Vincent. So I'm encouraging people to come out and support Dragons this year.